I know, I seem a little but being with my parents, just kidding. So what I said I wanted to do was I work at an elementary school here in town, and I wanted to go door to door in our neighborhood and tell the community, if you want the property value of your house to go up, then you need to come into the school and help me volunteer and work with these kids, because school does better and it's more higher achieving, because currently the school I work at is at an F standing, and so I said, if you want that to, and it's a great neighborhood, you know, but there's that. So I said, I'm going to go knocking on doors and telling people for the property value of your house to go up, then we are going to work to fight to make this school successful.
Hello. I see something on that.
Well, the community action was difficult, but we decided the community needs to demand more academic support for children. For example, more academic support for tutoring, more academic support for after-school help and care, and more bilingual support.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're moving right along here.
What's that? Their card?
Oh, yes. There it is. Okay. 90%. Who is here?
Hi. Lois Rudnick, retired professor of American Studies from UMass Boston, and someone who's worked on curriculum development with high school teachers for 30 years and won awards for doing so. So my personal thing is I want to know how I can go in and help mentor and work with the teacher on curriculum, but our group thing is parent involvement, education, and consultation, and having the schools and community members, as this group said, help provide resources to get the parents to feel confident to be in school and work with the children after. Thank you.
Who's the spokesperson over here?
I'm Stephen, I'm on the school board, and one of the things that came up with resources came up all the way around, but resources means money. And so we believe that basically education is severely underfunded in New Mexico, not just nationally, but here. And you all know that Santa Fe Public Schools has a lawsuit right against the state for $340 million that we're short pretty much every year for funding. But the action thing is the most important thing, right? We all agree that there's not enough funding. The action thing is legislative action. And so the thing that we came up with is, and I'm not exaggerating, everyone in this room, every single person in this room goes home and makes a list of 10 people that they can reach out to lobby the legislature. These 10 people cannot live in Santa Fe. Our northern delegation is great. It's the other part of the state we're worried about. Okay, they can't live in some progressive area in Albuquerque. You need to reach out to people that live, you need to reach out to people that live in maybe in somewhere other than the 14 districts that are very progressive relative to funding. And I'm not kidding you, 10 people. Go home, write down 10 that live in another part of the state. And they are going to lobby their legislators, senator and representative, to get off, their jobs and fund education. Because clearly, now that you're 25 years, education is not a priority in the roundhouse. Doesn't matter what they say, it's not. And it won't be until we take this kind of action. That's our thought on that.
So we had several different suggestions, and they're in the hands of Ann, who's the board member, so they'll get to the right place. But we just chose one, and that has to do with teacher retention, particularly in poverty, low-income areas, so that new teachers or less experienced teachers are mentored by more experienced teachers, because the turnover and the dropout rate is not just among students, it's a dropout rate among teachers, and we need to keep them and make them into good teachers.
Well, we agree definitely with the school board member here. Funding, funding, funding. allocate dollars to academics and not to athletics. Another thing was that we've started, one of the last speaker at the table up there, spoke of the dismantling the demoralization of teachers. We definitely have to support our teachers.
We also highlighted empowering teachers, and we specified through coaching. And a second strategy was more dialogue, community dialogue like this, to listen to what the barriers are for certain families and certain identity groups to feeling welcome in a school, and to making schools family seeking.
So as a group, we talked about many of the same things that everybody else is saying. But what I think and what we kind of felt it really comes down is to an awareness that excellent schools have to be a part of everybody's lives within the community.
Are you going to do a selfie? No, I'm giving everybody's getting a selfie right now. My name is Sergio Israel Mutterpearl. I work at Alaya. I'm also on our local NEA board, also with the Immigration Advisory Committee for the city. So this is something that I'm very passionate about, is getting things correct in education. What we talked about was echoed a lot with basically funding, but not just that. Basically, the funding needs to go in the right directions, because I know that there's millions of dollars being siphoned out, but I also know that, like I was telling them in my special ed class, we have the dividers that we're supposed to use for keeping the kids separate from cheating. We're painting on them, we're cutting into them, hundreds of dollars gone. So there's things like that. It's like, yeah, we could use the money, but I also know that there's been a lot of money misspent. The climate in education right now is horrible. You know, there's teachers, I think there was over 300, maybe 400 teachers combined from Albuquerque and Santa Fe that left this last year. And so if we want to build relationships, we need to keep our teachers. We need to put more people into the classrooms, like mentors, coaches, parents, anyone who's willing and able to really go in and do the jobs that need to be done, because we come from a state that's very diverse. They have 2 students that have Spanish needs. We have Navajo students or Native students that have Native language barriers. This has to be more of a full circle education here, and again, spend the money right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we said some of the same things, but I guess resources and funding was the one we came up with. The looking at maybe businesses adopting the school, not only to provide resources, but also to provide some modeling for students to see what the potential would be based on if they do achieve school. Going to the legislature for funding. And as a group of concerned citizens, we all can be there. We can contact other people. We need to make sure that the voices are heard. And it may differ a little bit, that we also need to be on our delegation, but finding other people in other areas who can talk to less engaged politicians would be helpful. And I mean, I think we did talk about that the need to really look at tapping the permanent fund. To increase the amount of money in the permanent fund. If you look historically, we are not getting what we used to get, and it's a crime. And basically is that the action would be that everybody be involved and talk to the legislature.
Thank you.
that there is a particular quality of relationships that pervades and promotes and surrounds effective education. That relationship extends out into the community. We saw that. There's a phrase common to most native culture. In my culture, it's "Emsit Nogmat," and what it means is all my relations. That means all of you. Okay? The action that we would bring out to the community is to continue these discussions.
Last but not least, are you going to?
I want to thank everybody. Our action items are similar to yours, and we talked about parent engagement, specifically the need for teachers to communicate with parents as much as possible, as busy as they are, about all the good things the kids are doing. So that way, when you hear the bad things, you feel better about the music you're getting. Dr. Lujan had a really good point about principals and something they can do, and teachers and staff members, rather than fearing the data, embrace the data and use it so that you can help your students improve. Because if you know what they're doing, then you can make it better. And finally, I want to put a plug in for my newspaper, The New Mexican. One place to have a community conversation is in a room, but it's also in the pages of the newspaper. We have wonderful My Views from all of you who write in letters and opinions, but we also have a Monday education page, which is specifically for people to write about what they see going on in education. And that can be as general as funding or as specific as, you guys are having a bake sale to raise money for something. So if you guys want to write and send your ideas, there's also a web page about the specific Save Our Schools. On the page, you can go there and have discussions with other people and talk about solutions and extend the conversation kind of to the virtual world so you can come up with some specific action plans that will help. Many of the people in this room participated in a group called the Strategic Planning Task Force that was, 10 years ago, that led to rezoning of the schools, to closing of some schools, to K through 8, to a lot of changes in the schools that kind of set the stage for where we're at today. So this is an incremental process, but it continues and you can make an impact, but it's really important to come out of here with some specific steps. So I hope that you think about those and maybe share those on our website so we can write more about them, whether in the news pages or on the opinion pages. Thank you, everybody.